This video demonstrates the powerful collaboration tools in DaVinci Resolve 14 Studio. Let's start in the Resolve Project Manager, where you can easily set up and manage your collaborative projects. Here you can choose either single-user projects in a local database on your system or shared projects on a remote database that can be on one of the shared editorial workstations or on a dedicated system. Any Resolve Studio users on the same network can connect to the shared database. Shared projects have this collaboration badge. Double-click to open the project. To enable a project for sharing, go to the File menu and choose Enable Collaboration. Then you save the project, and that's it. You never have to save again, because with shared projects, Resolve automatically saves everybody's work as they go. And Resolve includes colorful badges and icons, so you can keep track of other project members and which bins, timelines, and clips have been changed. Use the Collaboration button in the bottom right corner of the screen to set up your identity. Here you can type your name or title. I'll be the editor, and choose a color. And as you can see, my assistant editor and colorist have also joined the project. For this example, you'll see an editor, an assistant, 2 colorists, and an audio editor all working on the same project. Let's take a closer look at Resolve's collaboration in the media pool. As the editor, I'll select the Editing Content bin and hover here on Working Timelines. My assistant on the right can see my green badge, and I know she's in the Alaska Selects bin. Meanwhile, the colorist can see both of our badges and just selected the Rough Cuts bin. The colored badges are really handy for keeping track of other users, but they also show who controls the content. You see, Resolve has first-come, first-served automatic locking protocols to keep your work locked and the project in sync as you go. Here, I'll show you. First, I'll open the Working Timelines bin, which will automatically lock the contents as long as I'm in the bin. Then I'll double-click to open the version 3 trailer. The red check always marks your current timeline. On the right, you'll see my assistant still has read-only access to the locked bin. The colored ID badges show who controls the bin's contents. The assistant can open and play a locked timeline. She just can't perform any edits. Let's take a look at my active timeline. At a glance, you can tell it's a fully functioning timeline by the red playhead. On the right, you can see the same timeline in read-only mode. Notice that the playhead is gray. Read-only mode is great for looking at footage or previewing an edit while another user's working with it. Use the Collaboration chat button for real-time communication with your team. Here, I'll ask my assistant to finish adding the last few shots to the timeline. The chat button turns red to indicate a new message, and color ID badges on the chat window make it easy to see who the message is from. While I'm here, I'll ask the colorist to start grading some of the clips in my current timeline. You can see a list of active project members in the top right corner of the chat window. Resolve includes automatic timeline locking to ensure that only one user can actively edit a timeline from either the Edit page or the Fairlight page. You can right-click to duplicate a timeline and move the copy to an unlocked bin. In this project, I'll place the copy in the Rough Cuts bin for my assistant. Refresh icons appear whenever a change has been applied by another user. Click the refresh icon to update your project accordingly. Now the assistant can start editing in the duplicate timeline, and I'll merge the changes with my timeline later. Speaking of my timeline, let's see how the color correction's going. Since color correction doesn't physically change the timeline, multiple colorists can work simultaneously in the color page on the same timeline as the editor, as long as they work on different clips. Right now, there are 2 active colorists. Automatic clip locking in the color page ensures that only one colorist can grade a clip at a time. This is really important so that colorists don't accidentally overwrite each other's work. The rainbow outline around a clip number means it's already been graded. Do you see the yellow ID badge in the upper right corner of the viewer? That shows someone new has a lock on this timeline. For this example, I left the bin as the editor so that an audio editor could open the timeline and work on the Fairlight page. Remember, there can only be one active editor in a timeline on either the Fairlight or Edit page. You can also manually lock a bin so it stays locked after you leave. Here I'll lock the Backups bin. Just right-click the bin and choose Lock Bin. The lock appears next to the bin in the list and on the bin icon in the browser. Or you can option-click a bin to open it in read-only mode. This icon shows that a read-only user is in the bin, but it's still available to work in as needed. When you're finished, just select a different bin. To unlock a manually locked bin, just right-click and choose Unlock Bin. And finally, my assistant editor finished the end of the trailer. So let's use Resolve's timeline comparison tool to preview and merge the changes. Just right-click the timeline you want to compare with yours and choose Compare with Current Timeline. The timeline comparison tool shows both timelines, your current timeline on the bottom and the one you're comparing on top. You can play each timeline and right-click to accept the changes. DaVinci Resolve Studio is the only post-production tool designed for simultaneous productivity between professional editorial, color, and audio, which means less time moving, conforming, and waiting on other post-processes, and more time for creativity and delivering the best possible project. Now that you've seen DaVinci Resolve's revolutionary multi-user collaboration tools, we hope you'll go to blackmagicdesign.com to learn more.